welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena, and you join us this Wednesday for continuing PEC coverage in Week 5 of Boise State's matchups in said conference. Right now, Boise State is going up against USC this week, and we have got a Valorant match all lined up for you. Boise State is already currently on a winning streak. They won their Rocket League match on Monday, their Overwatch match on Tuesday, so now we'll see if they can make it 3 for 3 for this Wednesday Valorant match. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer. I'm joined by AJ Pepley, calling all the action of this game for you. Now, AJ, when you were researching our opponents, USC, before the broadcast started, you noticed a few specific players and roles that they play that might force a little bit of strategy change from Boise State. Tell us more about that.
So there was one specific player that I took notice, that being Ondo Ray, who mainly plays Viper. It's kind of interesting because I notice whenever you see these competitive players, they usually go for a select few instead of just one, but as far as we could tell, it was mostly just one with the Viper. And if you have a player who's that good, who will consistently be a pain regardless of what map it is or what composition they're playing, I feel like something really needs to be done about the enemy team's composition. So for Boise State, we know that obviously they're going to be going up against Ondo Ray, so they need to really bring down their game of having a good team composition. The interesting thing about Valorant, which this goes for other games too, but composition really can vary from map to map. Because sometimes you'll have larger maps with longer hallways or vantage points you need to keep track of. Sometimes there will be a lot more flank routes that you need to hold down using things like alarm bots or cameras and things like that. So I feel like Boise State just has to have a good idea of what maps will require what compositions and how those could really apply to the specific maps that we'll be looking at today, though we don't know exactly what those are just yet.
Well, here we get a look at of our common players. Rariana, Skies, Prestige, Skelesis, and Master all have been having some victories in the PEC, but also some struggles as well. If they want to iron out those struggles, though, in addition to the advice you just provided, I can think of one more great source for advice, and that's going to be Doc's Keys to the Game for a Valorant for this PEC match tonight, and that is going to be to chat your strats before every round, stay off the copium, take out your one, and check your angles, please. It's brought to you by Blue Ribbon Painting. With over 90 years of combined experiences, they're proud to be Boise's go-to team of local multi-generational painters who know exactly how to level up your home. If you're ready to transform your space, then visit blueribbonpainting.net to schedule your free estimate. All right, we're just about ready to go into tonight's matchup in the PEC. Just waiting for the final word from the players on stage and the note that they are all in lobby and ready to go, and we can take a look at the individual picks and bans and also just what maps we can expect for this particular matchup, because we've seen, especially last week, we had kind of a showcase of those 3-site stages, and we're going to probably maybe have one again this week too, with Haven and Lotus being on the docket. But before we get to that, we're going to be going split first.
It's generally the same composition we saw last week, with the only difference being the split instead of the pearl. But yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of that same stuff. So for those of you who tuned in last week, it'll be a lot of the same general ideas that we kind of talked about last time, with keeping track of those longer angles. But then, like I was talking about with compositions, if you want to go more specific, you got to know how the map is built. While a lot of these games, a lot of these tactical shooters like Valorant require skill, very important, but it's also really important to have knowledge on both the map you're playing on, how your character works, but also how all the other characters work. Because if you're prepared for whatever they can throw at you, then you'll be able to handle you'll be able to handle just about anything with at least a little bit less stress.
Well, one interesting thing about this upcoming match is that USC is going to be attacking first on both of the first two maps. So whether Boise State sweeps this or not is going to depend on how comfortable they are defending. As we see the picks be brought out, Split being a relatively classic stage, bringing out a lot of relatively classic agents with a few newer ones thrown in, mainly looking at the Tahoe being hovered by USC.
Teo has definitely been a popular pick. We saw him a lot last time, and I imagine we'll probably be seeing him again. But something I do want to point out is Ando Ray, currently hovering on the Viper, just like I mentioned, seems to be a very common pick for this player. So I'm curious to see just how well they do end up playing if all of the exciting rumors are true.
Interesting that USC isn't opting for or isn't hovering a Sentinel at all right now. Instead, they might go double initiator, double controller, which is quite an interesting pick. It's going to put, I think, a lot more pressure on Boise State to run up this score on defense and get a big lead, because Boise State definitely kind of going for that more defensively minded composition with the chamber. If they don't, I would say I'd want to see at least maybe a 8-4, 9-3, something like that. Maybe a 9-3 at the minimum.
I mean, as far as I could tell, USC is definitely a very, I don't want to say pushy team, but they're very fast with their plays that they bring out. So going without a Sentinel doesn't really surprise me looking at their choices here, especially given some maps do opt for going for the double controller play, while that might not be specific to this map. I know that if you're going on the offensive especially, that it's you're going to want to kind of have that ability to just get in there super quick and be able to control the area. And then if you play it well enough, you don't really need a Sentinel. But of course, that depends on how well USC ends up doing on their way to that point to start planning the spike.
Boise State not really having too much luck on split, if memory serves me correctly. This has been a stage that they've tended to struggle to find wins on. They have won on it, but it usually hasn't been a surefire thing like one of their more favorite stages like Bind has.
Well, we'll see if that ends up changing. It's a lot of pressure being put onto Boise State with such a dangerous player on the enemy team, so we'll see how well that ends up going.
Spike down B.
Alrighty, we have the spike drop toward B. USC down to 3, but Boise State is 2. Nice flick by Sky to find the headshot with the headhunter. Living up to the gun's name for sure. Is going to rotate over, and it's all up to Skies now. Can he find this pick against 2? The wall goes up to provide some cover for planting.
That wall is going to be dangerous. It's going to be hard for Sky to find any sort of good vantage point. Finally gets a good angle, but unfortunately the rest of them were just there, ready to take him down. So Andre is able to get that kill and plant the spike without really any difficulty.
Might be a little just too early to show where, to show exactly how Boise State lost that round, since we kind of got into it midway through. Both teams were down to 3, so not quite knowing if there were any early peaks taken that shouldn't be, but I'm sure those questions are going to be answered as we head into round 2.
Well, I could gather that Boise State was off to a bit of a rough start, because there were a lot of kills being dropped by them when we entered in that round, but we couldn't really tell at the time. So I could tell that Boise State started off a little slow, managed to pick up the speed a little bit, bounce things out 2-2, and then they eventually got taken down at the end. So other than that, I can't really know the specifics.
Sky's keeping a watch over mid, but it seems to be a push through B garage, excuse me, that USC is just running back from round 1. They've already got 1 pick, but are going to keep their eyes open. See what this lurker here, this Omen, can do against Skelesis on mid. That could open up a lot of room for USC to work with, or they'll just plant under that Viper wall that's already been placed on B.
That Viper wall is going to be a big problem, I can already tell. Just good to have all that space to work with and not really have to worry about any damage being brought out. Finally, Sky being able to see Tsubasa, and Skelesis was able to come around from behind the box that they were just sitting behind ever so patiently and get that kill. Balancing things out once again, but Sky was able to take down Ando Ray, giving them a slight boost in the right direction, both in terms of player count and in terms of the fact that, well, Ando Ray is a dangerous player. Ooh, that's big.
Oh, what a huge ambush. No one from Boise State was even looking there until the bullets started raining. Leaves Boise State, though, with some great play by Sky. Might be able to find this unexpected win, but it's going to be a clutch for USC, but that's still a lot of guns to drop going into their bonus.
Axio was at such low health there at the end. I didn't get the specific number, but it's just a tiny little red dot. While that would normally be seen as an instant win, it just was not really enough time, and, well, he just had a good angle. That crosshair was right on his head as he got in there. Especially good play from Els there at right around the middle of that round. With that double kill, nobody was paying attention in that direction, which isn't something you'd usually see because you'd expect people to be watching every angle. Just like we see in Doc's Key, it says check every angle, and that's the one time they weren't doing that and they got punished for it. I imagine we're going to be seeing this Viper wall basically every single round, just with how much cover it provides and allows them to push B pretty efficiently. It's kind of hard to say if they're ever going to choose to push A instead, but you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Rariana trying to line up here as both Poison Orbs are just thrown right in B garage. He's going to reposition, try to get a little better look or a peek on someone who might try to peek out, but that's not going to happen as the rotation goes from USC over toward mid here. Boise State, a lot of pressure is going to be placed on Skies right now, who stay in the sideline, as well as the backup sideline.
Ooh, there's Omen coming up on the other Omen. That could be bad. Skelis could be there to back him up, but the rest of the team is rotating towards A, excluding their Viper, actually. But this could be a pretty big push, given that Boise State does not seem to be able to predict that.
Nice peek out around the corner by Axio. Will flush out Skelesis. Now you only got one Bronco looking over A from heaven. USC using a bit of util to block off his sidelines and make this plant much safer. And now Boise State is going to have to defuse this.
Tukey's able to get that plant down. All of USC is still alive. Boise State is down one player, and they have to push pretty far to get in there. Though it seems like most of their team is up on heaven, so that could give them an advantage, but Els with another double kill.
Get out of my way.
Ooh, Rariana dealing some pretty hefty damage from up high, able to just kind of flush them out a little bit, at least try to do so. But the Trojans seem pretty adamant about sticking right where they are near that spike.
Oh, nice play by Axio. Lands the headshot against Rariana and makes the Trojans win their bonus. Huge amount of momentum now for USC.
Get out of my way.
So Rariana was able to kind of catch them in the unawares, but fortunately for USC, they're kind of able to get behind some cover and just kind of be prepared, watching every sightline available. And unfortunately for Rariana, just shooting to check if anyone was there didn't really work out in his favor, because unfortunately around another corner that they weren't shooting at just so happened to be Axio. So there are too many people there to handle. 3v1 would have been really difficult to beat. We also see the Tejo with that ultimate ready. He's been getting a ton of eliminations here, and just in these first 3 rounds. I imagined Ondo Ray to be the big problem here, but Els is definitely proving their worth on the Tejo.
Armageddon can definitely completely clear out a side. It's something that USC is going to be very happy to have this early. Right now is just trying to wait out some of the smoke here. Skelesis gets first blood, but it's traded back. Oh no, Dore manages to find a wallbang against Skelesis and will turn that into another one against Prestige. With mid cleared out, the rotation goes back toward B, USC's favorite spot.
Ooh, Rariana's got a pretty good flank, and it seems like they might have a good idea of that, bringing out the blade to move just a little bit faster, hoping to catch them in the unawares. Slowly pushing forward with that revolver at the ready. Now bring out the Phantom. Ooh, but somebody's hiding behind the corner right there to the left. Oh, man. Ondo Ray was ready for that. It would have been such a great flank, except for the fact that they were watching those angles. Somehow they seem to have a little sneaking suspicion.
Boise State now down 2 in a very tough defuse situation. Andre gets a peek on towards Skies. Skies not quite sure which angle to take. Gets triple peek. That was very well coordinated by the Trojans. And now nothing much for Master to do. USC up 4.
Boise State is having a bit of trouble right now. The Trojans are just managing to get all the attacks very efficiently and then find every single angle to cover possible once they do get the spike planted. At this point, they just need to make sure they can't get to that point to plant it, but it's just very difficult given how fast they're moving forward and how unpredictably they're traveling around the map. And now leading us to a timeout somewhat early into the game.
Boise State definitely seems to be having a problem with a lot of these one-on-ones, especially, I'm seeing some crosshair placement issues and just a few too many shots into the body and legs. Maybe something's just a little bit wrong with how Boise State's lining up, but that's the one thing that kind of can really come that we've seen a lot from the Valorant team can be unpredictability.
And like a lot of the time, we've seen them being put into situations where there's some movement involved in just trying to land those shots without getting hit themselves. And we know that in Valorant, less you move, the less your crosshair moves. A lot less sway. But then, like we saw there at the end, Master was just trying to push forward, land anything. But being put in a situation where you've got a strafe in the middle of it, your crosshair's not going to be quite as predictable.
Yeah,
as you hope.
I'm not going to blame like a situation, Master, where you're like 1v4.
No, this isn't me
they're
blaming.
double peeking you.
This isn't me blaming him at all. It's just unfortunate circumstances. Just having to move forward, but not really having much time, and then the game just kind of works against you ever so slightly. Hopefully they're able to get better sight lines, better crosshair placements as we get started into the 5th round here. We can't tell just yet as we get started.
USC moving their spike holder through sewers for a possible. They tried this just last round, this rotation back through mid, seeing if they can pick up anyone from Boise State. Because if they clear someone that's watching out or is relatively close to B heaven, that severely loosens the defensive ability Boise State has. Slowly they rotate on over back through Instead it's going to move up through mid.
You see, Boise State has 2 of their players over there by A site, maybe trying to get more prepared for USC. Finally, Els goes down. Els has been their main player, and now leaving them without that ultimate at the ready. Definitely leaves them without any resources that they were hoping to have. And now we see the other 2 players on Boise State, just like I mentioned, moving forward. Or at least their omen is Master. Ooh.
Onto Ray, great pick onto Rariana. Prestige makes it a triple and a quad, but he can't land the final shot to make it an ace, but Boise State will get their first round on the board with Prestige popping off.
It's kind of hard to tell what exactly was going on there, but I imagine Rariana just knew exactly where they were. Or not Rariana, excuse me. And Prestige knew exactly where they were. Able to get a good flank on them, too, by the looks of it, because we saw them pushing through that hallway. But then the balcony was just there out in the open, but they were not looking towards it. Like we saw earlier with Boise State not watching their sight lines, now we see USC not doing so. But you can't expect to be able to watch every sight line all the time, given how convoluted the Valorant maps are. It's just a little hard to keep track of everything all at once. See Sky bring out the sniper. We've seen him bring out the sniper quite a few times, and with great success too. We'll see if he's able to find any good picks with it, but so far no one in USC has pushed forward towards A site just yet.
Oh, this is a very fast push coming up from USC. They've already pushed Prestige off from Heaven. In fact, I don't know if there are any Broncos looking over Heaven. That's a huge thing to give away to the attackers for just relatively little.
Ooh, Master going down to Axio. And we see also Prestige is hurting for health. Skeleton is getting taken down too. Finally, Rariana is able to make a counter pick there.
Down to 2 apiece.
1 enemy remaining.
And you've got Sky
this could
up.
be huge.
Oh, what a huge shot right from Heaven. Lands it with the op. Boise State now starting to claw their way back. Seems whatever they did in that timeout is working. They've won 2 in a row since.
Sometimes all you need is a short little brain break to get things back settled. We know that having a good mindset is everything to a slow-paced tactical shooter. So as long as they're prepared every single time, mentally, then they'll be able to be prepared with their skills, with their strategies, whatever it is they need to bring out.
Already a Viper's Pit thrown out right onto mid. There have been so many rotations through there that Boise State really wants to try to take that territory away from USC, and they're finding themselves just kind of awkwardly staring at it right here in mid. Their teams split up relatively even between A and B.
Sky and Master once again watching A site and might be able to get some get some good progress, be able to get some good results with it here, given the fact that they have less points to go through. Like we said, they move through mid quite a lot, but if they can't really push through there, then they'll be forced to go directly towards A or B. And so they might be able to finally use the defensive positioning to their to good success. We'll have to see what ends up happening here as the round continues.
Master holding this sideline down on A, just periodic peeks through. USC still not giving away too much. Oh, Ando Ray is going to be going into the Viper's pit. Sees Prestige, Ariana, and takes him out. Huge play. Immediately starts a push on toward A side. Master takes out one, and Skies does as well. But Axio's keeping things competitive. Both teams at 3.
Man, pushing through the Decay just to get a takedown is a real ballsy move, but hey, it worked out really well in those kind of bold plays. Sometimes they're a little scary, sometimes they're a little sketchy, but if you're able to play it just right, then that's all you need. Unfortunately, right now, a good play is what Boise State needs, given the fact that Skelis is the only one left and that spike is ticking down right now. We see the Trojans moving around ever so carefully, looking for anything to, any sort of good place to make work here, but unfortunately Axio was there, dodged the grenade and took down Skelis, giving USC yet another win. Now 2-5. Boise State able to make some comebacks here, but they're still behind quite a few points.
This was the really gutsy play, moving on into the opponent's Viper's pit, but all he needed was this one peek onto Ariana to spray through. And now USC finds themselves back in the lead by 3. Definitely not an optimal situation for the Broncos, considering they chose such a defensive-heavy comp.
We'll have to see if the money they're slowly starting to build up is going to be brought to better effect here. Ariana starting another push forward. We see this brought out every time, but Ando Ray with the operator, able to get that first takedown. Actually with another one onto Sky, leaving them down only 3 players right now. USC still with full and with a heavy ultimate advantage, but ooh, Skelis with a great angle right there, able to get a couple kills just because they were not paying attention. Throwing the grenade down through there and just trying to make sure that they can't push forward, and it did force USC out to push through mid. They're moving very, very quickly. It seems like they know that there's nobody there for them. Ooh, but that was a waste.
Oh, yeah, can't really find anyone. Tries to make an educated guess, but Ando Ray with that op. And he stole from Skies, doing work on it. Boise State now just has Prestige left to try to bring things back. Sends out the Trailblazer, but gets concussed by themselves. Trying to check all these angles, but USC seems well prepared.
And we see both of them watching 2 different angles. Els could get a good shot here, but is unaware of Axio there to the left. Oh, but it didn't really matter. Els got a very good early shot onto him, taking him down and giving USC yet another point. That was a fantastic play there from Skelis. Just we saw Tsubasa just turn on at the worst possible time, and Tukey just assumed that with the fact that nothing was there, is also safe to turn around and boom, right out of the corner came Skelis. So sometimes you just get those little lucky moments that are just, you know, you're playing it right, but if they weren't looking at you, if they were looking at you, then that could have been played a lot more dangerously. So while it is a lot of skill, a lot of strategy, there is a little bit of luck here and there.
Oh, Axio being deadly accurate, really coming through in these past few rounds. And with the Rays, the more kills you get, the more paint shells you can use. So quickly turns into a snowball situation as Boise State now down 3. Axio picks up a double.
They are so unpredictable. It's so hard to tell where exactly they're going to go, where they're going to come from. And then sometimes they push way faster than they usually do. And it's just, there's so much unpredictability with this team. Sky finally able to get a pick, and Skelis also takes that operator. Maybe just trying to have that good amount of range to use against the enemy team is what they need. Speaking of range, Els goes down.
At this point, both of them seems to have picked up an op and is just going to go for a save mentality. Nothing much they can do to retake with those snipers. So another round handed over to USC, making it 7-2.
And sometimes you just got to make sure that you don't lose all those extra little boosts you got, especially when the enemy team is doing dangerously well. If you're able to just keep that extra cash, keep those guns, sometimes that's all you need to just make a slight advancement.
It seems these
We'll get another replay here. Boise State looking like they had a chance, but USC was so fast in picking up Heaven that this rotation over here from Rariana just was too little too late. And you also saw great coordination by the Omen there, just slowly closing in from the other route, making it so Boise State just really couldn't comfortably retake Heaven at all.
Normally, I wouldn't expect to see such quick plays in a game like Valorant, but it seems like the Trojans just have everything down to the wire, and they just know exactly what to do and when to push. And it's so hard to tell, like, they're so chaotic with their movements, you can't always tell what exactly is going on. Sky does have a good angle here, and he might be able to get a good pick onto Ondo Ray. Ooh.
Ooh. Unfortunate situation, Boise State's sniping game, and that rendezvous who just trying to TP away once again when you consider the Viper's wall just gives out B completely for USC to plant. Tabusa and Ondo Ray find one each. Skelesis tries to retake Heaven here.
Ooh, Viper's Pit.
Yeah, that's just basically blocking up all that B has to offer, and Sky, rough situation with only the Headhunter to try to bring it back.
Ooh, that decay is dangerous, just getting out there with 13 health left. When you have it placed directly onto the point, it's so hard to make that push in. The Viper's Pit is just so effective. If you know that you have a specific situation locked down, then there's basically no issue there. Trying to bring out the Showstopper as a last-ditch effort here, but wasn't able to find any good picks. Oh, and Ondo Ray still taking him down through the smoke. Tsubasa getting the takedown onto Sky, giving yet another point to USC.
Very tough situation. Boise State really didn't have too many scouting abilities that they could use with those two remaining agents, so they were just trying to pick things at random, even trying to put a Showstopper into the back corner, which is kind of where things are, where a defender is usually placed, but at that point, it was just a guessing game, and one that Boise State couldn't find the right answer to.
Well, at the very least, both teams have wasted their Showstopper so far, so at least it's a little bit of a even split there.
He says the score is 8-2.
Hey, you gotta find at least some sort of positives in life, you know. But yeah, it's a little rough right now. But hey, we've seen comebacks happen before. Valorant rounds are usually pretty long, and even if they don't win this one, they might end up taking the next couple of rounds. Sky trying to find any good picks through the smoke. Ooh, doesn't see Axio. Oh man, too many different people, too many different angles. Having those abilities to just kind of control a situation. Sometimes the smokes don't really get brought out very efficiently, but when they do, man, they are dangerous. See Master just trying to dodge the drone, make sure he doesn't take any, and make sure he doesn't get spotted by the enemy team.
This could be really fruitful here if Boise State continues pushing out through garage here. They could have a possible flank through mid if Skelesis can make these shots on the Sky. Instead, though, they'll take a long way around, giving USC time to rotate over towards A, but should they continue on this route, they'll still meet that flank from Prestige, excuse me.
And Axio is hurting for health. Prestige might be able to get a good pick, and there with the headshot. Maybe it didn't even matter how much health they had left at the moment. Finally, balancing things out once again. Skelesis taking down Tsubasa. Ooh, but the blind onto Master.
One enemy remaining.
Ooh, that was a good flank there, just taking away the attention from where it needed to be, but Els takes down Master. When 10 seconds left, it's unlikely they're going to be able to find anything, but hey, if he moves fast enough, yeah, we see right now.
Oh.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my goodness, what a huge flank.
Oh, man.
Boise State is able to stop the plant, and that will be a round given over to them.
Last round before the switch.
USC, best they can hope for here would be a 9-3 to end the first half.
Well, this could be a pretty big switch in the favor of Boise State, mainly just given the fact that they have a very offensive-heavy team composition going here. Without the Sentinels and all the the helpful information that they give, it could make defending a lot more difficult. Given the fact that they are attacking the first two rounds, maybe their ideal compositions would work in the favor of getting more of these sweeps and just giving them less that they have to do during their defensive rounds, but it still makes things way more difficult for them.
Well, the one thing you can say about the Viper is that she can kind of straddle that line between being a controller and a Sentinel herself, so gives USC room to play around with more initiators, more way to get some info on the other team. A lot of disruption.
It is nice how how characters can be played to their specific role, but they also have other things that they can do to kind of match those of other roles. Of course, it's not going to be the exact same level, but sometimes just having the extra utility makes things a little more interesting and allows for different team compositions like this to sometimes work out in their favor. Sky's watching this point very, very adamantly. Ooh, wasn't able to get that shot just given how fast they were moving.
Axio, nice headshot onto Sky. We were calling out USC's Viper, but it's Axio who's really been stepping up. But, I mean, as the duelist, that's your job to get a lot of kills like that. And tries to go even gutsier with a showstopper in. And that little bit of carelessness will pay dearly for USC. But maybe Ondo Ray can bring it back. He's still one of the best players that USC has. The original one we want to look out for.
But this is a big flank right here. Skelesis knows if Prestige gets taken down. Ooh, and instead chooses to push away, but Prestige all on his own. Able to take down Ondo Ray, matching things 4-8 as we switch sides.
That was actually a really good tactical retreat there, because the only way that USC could have won as the attackers there was being able to plant the spike, which they didn't have enough time to do.
Yeah,
so if you can't do that, you need to take out the enemy team. So running away, actually, when there's only like 5 seconds left on the clock, and
Makes
just
sense.
have Skies, you know, just kind of distract him for the bit, they still guarantee the win. So Boise State now entering the second half, 4-8. Now going to have their turn trying to attack here. Split definitely proving today and a lot of the previous weeks to be a temperamental stage for them to deal with.
Yeah, hopefully for their sake it isn't the end though. I mean, obviously this isn't the end because it's the first round, but now that they're on attacking, I have seen them do attacking to a little bit better success than they do on defense. So hopefully just that little fact at much is able to give them a bit of a boost in the right direction and get them to start winning here. Oriana getting a good first pick onto Tuki. USC won the first pistol.
Ooh. Tsubasa lands a double, 2 deadly accurate headshots. Ondo Ray continues to keep things going. Master lands one against Tsubasa, but at this point, Boise State, it's 1v3. And USC has shown they definitely play things smart when they have that tempo advantage. And even if it's a one-on-one, Ondo Ray's a good enough player to land these headshots.
And it's all about those headshots. Sometimes you can get all this armor to protect you, but then somebody just lands a good headshot, even with a pistol, and that could just really, really tank your chances there.
Last player standing. Spike down.
Though, of course, you're not going to have many opportunities for armor in the pistol round, just given how little money both sides start with. But now as we get things going, USC is going to start with a little bit more cash in their pockets and a little bit more options for their weapons. So we'll see what ends up getting brought out and seeing what USC decides to do now that they're on defense. Because you can't really see, I mean, obviously you're going to be seeing strategy in the pistol rounds, but given the fact that you have very limited options, it's usually just gunplay to start things off.
Ooh, Ondo Ray brings out the outlaw in mid and gets first blood onto Skelesis. A lot of USC's wins have just been on pure domination through mid.
It does seem like Boise State is adapting to that, just given their agent placement here, having more people ready to rotate towards mid if the situation calls for it.
Yeah, the problem is with 2 lurkers, this is not a good position for Rariana to be in. Surrounded by 3, manages to trade 1.
Wow, right behind him.
Yeah, he was just
That was a Looney Tunes situation right there. Even walked right next to him outside of the smoke and he still didn't notice.
Uh-oh, and this race has the number, and yeah, Master just really not much Boise State can do against the gun differential. USC now goes up to double digits. And if they have a similar bonus round to what they did in the first half, then things I would say would probably be put away. 3-11 is just brutal of a scoreline to try to mount a comeback. 4-11, excuse me.
Well, they're not ready to give up just yet, even if it is a much more difficult situation to win. Our players are pretty adamant about winning, especially given the success they've had in the past. And you know, we're talking about the streak at the very start with our Monday and Tuesday teams having good success. So it's always exciting if your Wednesday team can also get that. So it's a little more pressure, gonna give them that extra little boost to keep playing as hard as they possibly can. Skelos with the spike, waiting for a good chance to push forward. Sky's able to get a good first blood onto Tsubasa, but he is hurting for health right now. Maybe better to stick there in the back lines while the rest of the team pushes forward. Seems like he's not actually choosing to do that. Instead, choosing to stick out there with the little bit of health he had. Fortunately, was able to get some good heals out, so not over at that point. See them able to plant the spike, finally getting them that little bit of a boost they need.
Ooh. Oh, Tukey tried to take the point back from
Enemy
Boise
remaining.
State, but they have a very good eye over all the entrance points now. Just one left, one Trojan. If he can pick off, though, even just one exit frag here, this is a really good bonus round for him. They've already gotten what I would consider pretty good. 2 down from Boise State, so 2 rifles taken away from the Broncos. And USC, I think, has reason to feel all right about how that turned out.
Yeah, like, I mean, in general, it's just good. They just have a good reason to focus on, hey, while we might not have done good in that round, we still have a pretty big lead. They did start things off pretty well with the pistol round. Things didn't go as well during that round. They were still able to get a couple kills down. So it's not a horrible situation for them to be in. They have that little bit of an advantage right now, or a lot of an advantage, just given having a lot more points. But in terms of guns, things are probably going to be relatively balanced this round and maybe the next 2. We're seeing the Viper wall. Like I mentioned earlier, I imagined that we'd be seeing a lot of Viper walls basically every single round, and what do you know? Gets brought out basically every single time. Sky trying to get a good hit onto Tsubasa, but that smoke just makes it difficult. Shooting through the smoke to not much success. You see the team is relatively split right now. Master in trying to push through mid right now, or even just hold down this position while the rest of the team is pretty split through A and B.
Very nice coordination on the double peek from the Trojans. Forces Skies back. He doesn't want to take a fight he knows he can't win. And Rariana, very nice peek out around the corner, finds just a pixel of headspace to get Onodara. Axio falls as well, and huge opportunity for the Broncos now up 2 with enough time to plant safely on A.
Yeah,
30
Prestige
seconds left.
finally get there with the spike. About to find a good opportunity. Rariani gets a good pick onto Els. Tsubasa takes it back on Tukey, takes down Skelesis. Now bringing things 3-2. Boise State still at the advantage in terms of players, and their Omen is hurting for health right now, so they got to play real smart here if they want a chance of winning this one. But Tsubasa gets taken down. Tukey falls right afterwards, giving Boise State another win. They're slowly but surely pushing their way towards matching USC's points. It's getting a little sketchy right now for USC, but they've still got quite a big lead, but they're just maybe going to be falling behind on cash right now.
They're definitely going to be forced into a save round for this next match. Not going to be able to really get all the rifles they want, but also, well, I'm thinking mainly for Onondara right now. Has definitely shown a proclivity to snipe, so even if they don't have the full credits to get 4 rifles, could still do a lot of damage on the Outlaw.
Yeah, and they have the time to work with the a save round. They're 4 points ahead. They've still got plenty of time, so at this point, may as well just save the little bit of money that they've got, and then start to push forward again in the next round, maybe the round after that, once they're a little more comfortable in where they're sitting. See how that ends up getting brought out. Either might get brought out in this next round if USC does well enough, but Boise State has been doing decently well for themselves.
A lot of these predictions on where the peaks have been coming out from the Trojans have just been incorrect, and USC has been winning a lot of 1v1s that way. Bit of a smoke placed down on mid. USC moving through the smoke, trying to take the Broncos off guard. Can they land a pick? Master trying to do spray transfer, will only get 1. Prestige picks one onto Tukey, behind around the corner from the bird. And things just quiet down for a little bit until Skies gets Liz.
Ooh, Rariana might have a good pick right here. It seems.
30 seconds.
Wow, standing on. Oh, that is rough. I don't want to blame it on the gun, but I noticed that the gun's model was blocking the only possible sight that they had onto Ondo Ray. And so he was able to just sit right on top of him.
I mean, it's a free gun for Ondo Ray to pick up, and it makes this save round one that USC could actually win. Should this one-on-one with Skies go according to plan, Skies doesn't have any way to... I was going to say, doesn't have any way to really get info since both his trademarks were used up, but he still had good enough reaction time to win that. Still, though, almost a thrifty for USC. That's a lot of credits for Boise State to lose, and a great chance for the Trojans coming up here to pick up a win to go to 11.
Maybe we're going to see Ondo Ray picking up that operator again. Just given how much success he's had with it in the past. I like how basically every team that we see has one designated sniper player, and it's pretty interesting to see how basically every single time they're very good at it too.
Oh my goodness, Salvo's almost immediately coming out through garage. Skies picks off Axio. Boise State up one.
And every single ultimate
lot,
ready too.
Yeah, this is a lot of ground though to be denied to them. They can't work with mid at all as Viper's Pit is thrown down there. They would have to move maybe through ropes and try to flush out the Viper, but I mean, we already saw it once, kind of a bold play through the Viper's Pit, but this time Boise State seems to play it slow and will try to go for the rotation, the regroup up through A.
I mean, we haven't seen Boise State as set on using mid as much as we saw USC. They were instead just like going with whatever the situation calls for, which of course USC was doing that. But their main choice did seem to be mid most of the time. But Boise State, they don't seem as adamant about it. Ooh. Showstopper onto Tsubasa. Finally gives them pushing them a little bit further forward. Skelis now has a good idea of the presence of another player. Failed the flash, but still managed to take him down.
Oh, Master. Great shot to put Boise State one up. And a Viper's Pit to boot, putting a lot of pressure up here on Orndore to do something, but he doesn't. So now Boise State, huge rally back here on split. Might be able to find a Tukey, though. Extremely low on health. Not much he can do.
At this point, I think he's got the right idea of just trying to live, but it might be difficult. Oh, man.
Oh, he almost paid so... Rariana almost paid so dearly for that with that jump peek out around, was completely disregarding that angle. And, man, that could have been a very well-placed shot to at least pick up one for your save. I don't know if he still would have survived because his location would have been out for Boise State.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was worried about.
But yeah, it seems like these peaks around the corner through the smokes, just these predictions the Broncos are trying to make of where to aim their gun, have just been the main thing separating them and the Trojans, although it is getting rather close at 8-10.
See things getting started here. Boise State choosing to stick near mid, but man, USC is completely unprepared for that right now. The only one who isn't really doing that right now is Sky. We see Master also watching that angle towards B, but in general, the rest of the team is focused on mid right now, and it seems like USC has no idea. They're slowly starting to make their way towards it.
Oh! A little hit with the drone, but nothing too much to stunt Boise State's push. They were already playing it a bit cautious, trying to wait for maybe any sort of over-eagerness through ropes, although are they going to abandon? Oh, they're going to get stunned. That's great play there with the breach to gain some ground or at least a little bit of security through mid. Should they be able to do the same with Prestige? Oh, wow. Oh, get Boise State to drop the spike, but that won't happen. B Heaven's claimed, but now they got to move on to the spike, even though they have the high ground placement. They'll drop down. Oh, that was headshot, but Axio lands one with the Sheriff.
2-3 right now. Boise State's able to get picks, but it gets traded. Ooh, Prestige was able to land some hefty damage and not take any right afterwards. It's a good situation to be in, just given the fact that they've dealt more damage, but it's not so great given the fact that they got to plant the spike, but nobody's there to defend it.
On top of that, they've got a very great retake ult with this Rolling Thunder. They'll throw it out. It goes slamming into the point, hits Sky in the back line.
And the showstopper.
They're not looking back, though. Prestige picks up a free one off of that. And will get the breach as well. Now it has to go onto this Raze.
It's all up to Axio at this point. But man, bringing out 2 ultimates just to not really get anything from it is a really rough use of resources. And Sky is able to take down Axio. Man, Boise State has nearly matched their points right now, 9-10. Yeah, Axio.
I'm still stunned, though, that I'm still stunned that they weren't able to get Skies.
I know.
Because he was hit with the Rolling Thunder and a showstopper was brought out. I mean, all you need to do is see Skies, hit the button, and you got it. But
man, maybe
I mean,
he just got lucky with some cover
I just wish the camera had been focused on him because things just didn't quite add up there. But Boise State certainly won't be complaining, going down just 1 now to USC.
See Boise State pushing pretty quickly towards A site. Instead of choosing for mid like they opted for last time, Sky is pushing towards B right now. They're pretty nicely split right now, but USC is pushing very far forward, something you don't usually see from a defense. It seems like they just want to be able to cover as many angles as possible, as much ground. We might be able to get a shot onto Axio, but just barely missing as he started walking through. Mariana getting that first pick onto Els, and now giving them basically free reign of B site. Yeah, we see Prestige has the spike right now, able to start pushing forward. They're just going to be able to plant it without any sort of opposition. I mean, Ando Ray is slowly flanking back, slowly starting to get a flank, but Master's there at the ready. We'll see how it goes, and Ando Ray gets taken down. But interestingly enough, we saw them pushing forward a little bit more, making sure nobody was there around that angle, giving them free reign to plant the spike. But unfortunately for them, Tsubasa was right next to Tukey, giving them at least somebody else to start moving forward with.
Tsubasa, he gets spotted out by Rariana, and Rariana with a deadly accurate headshot. Boise State on a roll now. It looked kind of hopeless, but they're going to be able to bring this back to 10-all. And it would be such a huge win for the Broncos.
Talking about their difficulty with split, they might be able to finally, well, not finally, like we know that they've won on this map before, but if they're able to get another win, hey, that's going to give them just a little bit more confidence in their abilities next time around, maybe give them a little more map knowledge, ideas of what to do on this map.
Interesting, though, will Skies get taken out by Axio, tries to bait him out with a shot, but doesn't seem like anything much is going to happen.
At least USC had one person left there at the end. Axio saw that everybody else got taken down real fast and knew that it was time to dip out of there. Sometimes running away isn't such a bad idea, especially in this game when you got to focus so much on the economy and your current equipment. Got to make sure. Maybe, I mean, I imagine given how well Boise State has been doing, they wouldn't need Axio's weapon, but hey, sometimes you just want to keep it, you know? Starting things off, we see Boise State once again split pretty evenly, but a lot less pushing forward from the Trojans this time around. Farthest forward we see is Tsubasa waiting there in mid, just to see if anybody is going to come around the corner, but a smoke did get brought out by Viper. Makes things a little more interesting. Sky gets taken down, or Sky takes down Ando Ray, giving them a slight advantage in terms of players. USC does have 2 ultimates at the ready. They could use those if need be, but for now, it's a pretty slow burn of a round. But now every single player on Boise State side is pushing towards A site, instead of being split like we usually see them.
Smoke off into A heaven. USC, quick home into EP, just trying to get some information. See so many Trojans trying to hold down the point. Armageddon thrown out. Axio comes through with a double. And USC still has a chance to hold this. Tsubasa gets one. Eliz gets another, and Tukey will lock it on down, sending the Trojans up 1-11.
I mean, getting that double from Axio was really what they needed to start things off, because they were falling behind just a little bit on players, just one behind. But bring out that double to start things off. Just kind of everything else kind of devolve into chaos afterwards. Skelis has tried to get an extra pick, but there are just too many angles, not enough people to watch all of them, and then they just got taken down. Bringing USC up to 11. It's very close right now, 10 to 11. It's either team's game right now. You see that grenade being thrown there every single time, just prepared in case anyone decides to go around that angle, and it doesn't always seem to be working for them, but that time. I've also definitely noticed them. They have a pretty interesting strategy of leaving the spike down on the ground there instead of always having.
Oh, wow! What quick reaction time by Ondo Ray with the judge as well. Boise State now down 1. Still not a lost cause though. They've won from a lot of attack rounds in situations like this, especially if Rariana can find one around the corner, but oh, unfortunate timing. Very good placement there by Tukey on top of the crate, basically guaranteeing a double peek that Boise State couldn't react to.
I got the spike.
Finally picking up the spike again, seeing the timer ticking down, just down to 40 seconds. They only have half the players that USC has. It's going to be pretty difficult to push forward and make any good plays here, especially with the flank
30 seconds left.
that we're seeing from Els. Could be pretty dangerous. Yep, we see with the judge getting that double and bringing things up to 12. Now match point. USC just needs one more to take this game.
Match point.
It is interesting because I was definitely very focused on Ondo Ray there at the start, but I feel like Els and Axio too have definitely been the hardest hitting players of the team. Of course, being good at the game doesn't just mean you get all the kills, because you got to know how to play with your specific agent and how their abilities can be used to the best of, well, their ability. But just given how dangerous they looked from their past experience, it is interesting to see how well Els is playing, just taking down so many of Boise State's players, and with relative ease sometimes, it seems. Maybe the situation just so happens to go in their favor because they got the right gun or the right abilities. But hey, definitely a lot more skill than I was anticipating. Not to say that I expected anyone else on USC to be bad at the game, obviously.
Well, I think the one thing that's really impressed me from USC is that they have been very disciplined with their positioning to guarantee so many double picks, whether it be the speed that they swing out around the corners. You know, if they're doing, you know, one swinging short, one swinging wide, they're not allowing the possibility for the dreaded collateral when that happens. Everything's been great there. And then even in just that last round, the placement on top of the crate, heading on toward A heaven, they just know, they seem to know where the most advantageous positions are every single angle to be able to get these unfair fights against Boise State, which is exactly what you want. Never have a fair fight. And look at that, the salvo from Elias also takes out Rariana. Boise State needs to bring this back now. Try to stay in the game.
See them pushing pretty quickly towards B site. Moving forward real quickly now. Especially with Prestige dropping that ultimate. Just trying to get anything they can use. This could be their last chance to use any of their cash, any of their abilities. So they may as well drop them all now. Starting off pretty strong with Prestige being able to plant that spike very quickly into the round too. Skelis is getting a pick.
Not ready yet.
Now getting things balanced, or not balanced anymore. It's now unbalanced because USC is now down 3, while Boise State still has 4.
Yeah, but the one thing they do have is the high ground that they can fight down here from B heaven. Axio slowly making his way through alley. We'll get a little bit of backup from the breach. Tsubasa trying to round the corner. You see his gun barrel, and very nice adjustment by Skelesis. Great spray transfer to be able to land the round and take it within 1. So now, if Boise State wins this next round, we will officially go into overtime and could be here for a while on Split.
We did also notice that Showstopper got fully charged there at the end, so maybe that's what they need to bring it to overtime. Sometimes just getting that high damage output AoE there just could be exactly what they need to take it, but maybe USC, with something like that Viper's Pit at the ready, they could just make sure it doesn't go to overtime and take this first game. It's hard to tell what's going to happen here as we start things off. Boise State pretty split. And goes the wall to start things off, as per usual. See Sky starting to push forward. This could be pretty bad. Ando Ray is pretty adamant about watching this one specific angle. Axio to back him up, and there it goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's that positioning there with the double peaks around the corner. USC is really, that's been their strong suit. And also, I always have to, wonder, there's been a lot of peaks out around with just not quite enough information, at least that I'd be comfortable with, to make these peaks that Boise State is taking. And you can see, here, what a great flank by Ando Ray. He already had one before, so he's traded 2 for 1. Now we're going down through, ropes. Boise State trying to reconvene for an A push. Throws the Hawk out.
Blinded.
Gets a blind. They don't exactly know who, but Master does manage to take out Axio. Tukey trades it back. Now down to 2 apiece. USC is moving at a cohesive unit now. Boise State needs to plant. Less than 30 seconds. Can Rariana win this, though? And look at how they're positioning. They're already... K. Subasa went down. That was great positioning by the Tejo as the backup. So now USC needs to play to this tempo that they have. One of Doc's keys to the game. They have a 2-1 lead. Can they convert on it?
It's all to Subasa at this point.
Oh!
We're starting to defuse the spike.
He might be able to get half.
We got half. Oh, but there it is. Now we're going into overtime.
Yeah, I could have understood going for half there, but it seems like that was a huge mistake for Subasa. Maybe just a little bit too cocky off of that initial miss.
Because then you got to get back.
I would have right here, because there would have been enough time had he been happy with the half to be able to bring his gun up again and maybe have a chance there.
It was a little interesting because he knew the prestige was there. He got shot at just moments before, but instead went to go start defusing the spike instead. A bit of an interesting choice here, but hey, USC still does have a chance to make these plays and win these next couple of rounds and hopefully win overtime.
Find the weak point and break it.
So now that we're into overtime, the roles will swap every single round. USC back on attack. Considering how they built up quite a huge lead, both teams definitely favored on attack. So it's going to be basically, if things keep playing out the way they are, USC is in a position where the tempo favors them. They're favored on attack, so they'll go up to match point consistently. Boise State has to find a way to stop them on defense.
It might be a tempo of going back and forth here for a little bit, just seeing how well both teams have done offense. So we might be seeing a pretty even matchup here going out here. Either team just has to do well on defense, which has definitely not been either team's strong suit, at least in what we've seen today. On the right, taking out Sky, leaving them without yet another player, and now Boise State is down 1.
Oh, Master
survives it though. Didn't take much damage. Still has 10 shields, 81 health left. And they're able to start pushing forward. See that smoke getting brought out by Master. Ariana watching that angle. Oh, but a great flank there from Ando Ray. Grenade gets brought out. Doesn't look like he hit Tukey, but it was very close.
Oh, with the shorty too.
Oh, and there it is. USC takes it. Yeah, I imagine we'll be seeing a little bit of back and forth here. Boise State plays this about as well as they were doing on attack. And it might go back, and we might be, like you said, we might be here for a little bit. It's hard to tell just yet. But hey, we're going to get started on this next round and see how Boise State ends up playing, or if USC just decides to lock in out of nowhere now that we're in overtime.
Exciting thing about overtime is that everyone has rifles. They're only a few points away from their ultimate, so I mean, it really favors the team that can get the first blood just like this. Look at the stun here onto Ariana. Axio converts on it. That's huge that this game placed onto the Rays, too. Might have a chance of a showstopper. If USC could build that up and hit with it, oh boy, that'd be tough.
Well, we've seen their success with showstoppers in the past, so it's kind of hard to tell how it's going to end up going. But as long as they don't have any like Viper's pits or any other smokes there in the way, then usually getting a showstopper isn't too getting a hit with a showstopper isn't too difficult as long as you got a good angle and not too many things blocking your line of
But
sight.
the problem is, if you want to place up smokes, that's might be more of a. Oh, man. Because will they have that by the time post-plant comes along is the question. Ondo Ray lands one. Axio as well. Down to 2. Skelis' peek out around. Gets caught with the paint shells. Quick retreat from USC to get out of the radius. Doesn't look like any damage was taken. Boise State has the high ground, but they don't have the plant yet.
Oh, but they're going to be able to by the looks at Master. Taking the spike, able to get it planted.
Oh, wow. That was almost so beautiful by Ondo Ray for the flank.
Tsubasa waiting in the smoke. Another one gets planted. Time is ticking down. USC has to push here pretty soon if they want to make a difference. Gets traded. It's all up to Master right now. Oh, man, but Tsubasa takes it and is able to finally get that spike defused like they were hoping for.
Yeah, just stops right short of the
Defenders win.
of Tsubasa's head. Rotated over toward the shoulder, but then just stopped. And
a battle of the omens there at the end. Yeah. It's all about that positioning, all about that awareness. So many different factors go into this game that are usually seen as a lot slower, just given how it's a slower paced game, but then there's the specific little things that you see in the middle of every single round, just having to watch every single angle, having to have your crosshair placed exactly how you would expect them to be, knowing whether they're going to be crouched or standing, you never really know. So there's a lot of like, I feel like there's a lot of I don't want to say guessing involved, but there's a lot of risk-taking. We were noticing earlier how Boise State was struggling with their ability to guess where USC was going to be waiting. Because when you're jumping out at a certain point, you're just got to assume, are they going to be to my left, to my right? Are they going to be above me? You don't really know, so you just got to assume where they are going to be. And that didn't really work out so well for Boise State, so maybe in this next upcoming game, they'll have better success with that.
Well, we'll just have to find out. Remember, as we saw at the beginning of this broadcast, we had the map lineup all for you. We will get to that shortly, but first we want to give a quick thank you to local dairy farm families as a proud fueling partners of Boise State esports athletes. Dairy foods provide the protein to rebuild, the hydration to recover, and natural electrolytes to replenish post-activity. Fuel your greatness with dairy. And as I was saying, Split was the only two-site stage that we have for Boise State, because now from here on out we're going to be moving on to Haven next and then going on to Lotus should it require to go to a game 3. I would say I think Boise State, based on their history, I would have a little bit more confidence for them on Haven. I've seen them win.
I was thinking that, yeah, especially with last week. We saw how well they ended up doing. So, I mean, hey, they managed to do well with a map that they were initially struggling on. So if they're able to have the same level of success here on Haven, maybe they'll bring it out to a 1-1. We'll have to see.
Well, we'll head back down to the virtual play field to find out how the Broncos, if they're able to turn around this match, because as we're getting to the final few weeks of the PEC, one of the most important things to come out of this is how Boise State is going to be seeded. And they kind of want to stay out of that lower half of the seedings, because the lower they go down there, the tougher opponents they'll have in the first few rounds of the playoffs in Vegas. And Boise State going all in on the double duelist. We've seen Master and Sky bring out the Yoru and ISO before. I love seeing the gameplay from them on these agents.
This is also something that I'm wanting to bring up, because just like I was mentioning earlier with compositions, it definitely varies from map to map. We're seeing virtually very few different we're seeing very few of the same picks here now that we've moved on to Haven. Prestige with an Omen, albeit not with the same player as an Omen, given the fact that Master was the Omen last time. So it is interesting seeing every single time you go to a new map, they're going to be bringing out different agents. So I always like it because it spices things up a little bit. So you see different abilities, different play styles, different compositions, all that kind of stuff. It always makes me a little excited, because I like seeing variability in games.
Axio comes through with a jet pick. meaning that we might have some sort of sniper shenanigans going on by USC. Should they have a good first attack, then yeah, maybe they have enough wiggle room when they go over to defense to be able to bring out some snipers. We'll just have to see as Boise State going up against USC. The Trojans currently lead 1. Boise State looking to tie this up and then go on to Game 3 on Lotus. We'll see if they can do that as we head on down to an old classic, they would say an OG stage, Haven.
I wouldn't really be surprised to see any sniper shenanigans. We saw it at the start, usually only really at the start leading into like the middle of the first game. But we know that Sky likes to favor snipers when given the opportunity, and it seems like Andore like to use them. But maybe we'll be seeing somebody else using a sniper this time around, or maybe even nobody. It's hard to tell. But yeah, bringing out a jet is usually a pretty good indicator of that. Just waiting for things to get started. 10 seconds left before we start things off with our pistol round. I also just now realized, player I've been calling Els, the name is actually Joe Shizzle backwards. So that might give us some clarity for who we're talking about here.
Well, he didn't decide to spell it forwards. He's decided to spell it backwards. So you got to live with the consequences
maybe I'll just
of your decisions.
Maybe I'll just keep calling him Els, just because that's what we've already been calling him.
Axio slowly moving down towards sewers. Skelesis has a pretty good sight line on this. Just trying to make sure that crosshair placement. He's been moving up and down just a little bit on his y-axis. He's trying to get it right dialed into that head. Oh, nice little stun by the breach, and they'll move in quickly off of that. And Master manages to find one against Tukey. Around the corner, he finds a second. Axio looking to tie it back up, gets Skelesis, but Master on too much of a tear. He's going to recharge his double tap and now has to say bye-bye as we are down to 2 left.
Ooh, isn't able to dodge the blind, allowing Els to get that spike planted. Things started out pretty well for Boise State, but now it's a 2-2. And we see the Cypher hurting for health on Boise State's side. Starting to push forward ever so slowly, but they don't see Ando in the smoke. A great shot onto Els. Ooh, that could have been pretty close there. Mariana was hurting for health, but fortunately Prestige was just there at the ready and is able to defuse the spike, giving them the first round in their favor. Bit of a scary situation there in the middle for Boise State, given that even though Master started things off with the triple kill, Andore made that comeback. Just dishing out some damage, dishing out those takedowns, matching things 2-2 again. But fortunately, even with Rariana hurting for health, they still were able to take advantage of having 2 players left. We're noticing the 2 people watching one specific angle. While that doesn't directly apply here, doubling up is always very helpful, or even, well, having more than one player in a certain situation is always very helpful, because if somebody gets taken down, you can react and quickly take down the other one. We saw that worked out pretty well for Boise State in that last round.
Oh, it was still close. Master did just about everything he could on the ISO to get Boise State a huge lead with that early triple, but USC brought it back. Skelesis trying to hold down this angle here. Question is his crosshair placement right where it needs to be? Oh, man, the stuns have been on point from USC's breach, and they play to it so well. But Boise State now with the lead. Master gets his double tap taken out, recharges it. Wow. Trying to fire through the smoke. Can he land it? Boise State has the tempo and the win.
Master is being a real dangerous player right now.
This ISO is definitely a favorite pick of his, and it's proven for dividends.
That double tap right there, that's really helping to make that difference. But yeah, those stuns brought out by the breach have just been on point every single time. I want to say Master's now at 6 kills in round 2, which is a very high number given how early we are. Now it seems Prestige got a good wall bang there, but either way, still a lot of kills to start things off, which isn't something you'd usually see from one specific player. So now I imagine USC's got to figure out a way to counter this ISO, or else they're going to have a real difficult time pushing forward in game 2.
Master lands one with the Bulldog. Great start to the bonus. Tukey trade back. But again, this is a bonus. Straight in 1 for 1. I'd be perfectly fine with in the bonus.
Skelis is getting a good sight line there with that drone. Not able to find much with the recon bolt. We see Prestige and Ando Ray on B site right now, seemingly unaware of each other.
No!
Ouch! Watching the wrong side though. Ando Ray was covering every angle there on B site, and unfortunately, just a tough situation to be in there. Ando Ray still in mid.
Last player standing.
Smoke didn't do enough to protect him, and Rariana gets taken down. Sky follows right afterwards, and now only Skellis is up against 4 at this point. You even push forward, are you going to be able to take them all down? So far, it seems like he's hiding in the back, just trying to avoid any
Spike
extra,
planted.
wanting to make sure that they don't know where he is, which is a pretty good thing to do. Oh, but Ando Ray, man. Finally bringing out those finally bringing out all those kills that I was expecting to see there in the first game. USC, I mean, man, just watching those angles is something that Ando Ray's been doing a very good job of. We saw when him and Prestige, I believe it was, on B site there, they were just circling around, but Prestige was watching that one specific angle while Rariana was checking each and every one of them. So at that point, it's just a matter of not being able to tell what exactly, or where exactly to look, given how many different angles there are, and it just worked in the favor of Ando Ray that time around. Trying to land any damage onto anybody through that sight line, but it doesn't seem like any of USC's players are there. We do see Master with that ultimate at the ready, relatively early on into round 4. Ooh, most of the action might be happening here at B site pretty soon. Good teleport from Prestige, trying to avoid that any stuns or damages there from the breach.
Oh, what a shot through the smoke. Great guesswork by Prestige.
And
Picks out Axio too. Yeah, the headshot onto Axio. That's been a huge elimination getter for USC, so things looking up for Boise State in round 4. Master also trying to hold down Suez. Can he get it? He manages to land it. That really made me a little nervous there. Looks like he overextended a little bit on the transfer, but made up for it in the end.
Hey, if we need to bring up our wisdom from last week, you might not have much health, but you're not dead, you know? It's not going to have quite the same effect now that we've already talked about it last time, but hey. We see
especially since Boise State doesn't have a healer like Sky, then...
that's very true. We don't really see a ton of healing.
All the mistakes are going to be written in permanent ink for this round. And Master, though, I mean, the double tap is so huge for him, though. Ooh, great. Nice blam, blam, blam by Rariana and Skelesis. I always like when you just fire away with the Guardian.
Hey, sometimes it works out. Even through the smoke, you're just like hoping somebody's there. And I mean, it seems like this round has been a round of guessing that people are through the smoke and guessing correctly. So maybe Boise State's just got some magic guesswork this time around that they might have been struggling with last time. Now bringing them up 3-1.
Yeah, even though he got the elimination there, just being a little bit to the right cost him 70 health, bringing him down to 30.
And just trying to go for those body shots at that point. Sometimes if you don't have good faith in landing those headshots in time, you just got to hope the body shots are enough.
This goes here.
And yeah, that definitely ended up costing him a lot of health. He was able to stay alive, and they were able to still win the round. So since health doesn't carry over, it doesn't really make a huge difference. Skelos is pushing forward. That wall gets brought up
Right here.
by Ando Ray. Axio right around the corner. Oh, great pick from Skelos. It's onto Axio, and another one onto Tuki. Now allowing him to have that Hunter's Fury at the ready. Not able to find anybody with that recon, though.
No charges. Making cover.
Double tap goes down as well, costing them another ability, but he might be able to get a good pick here. Oh, but it's not enough. Ando Ray with a great headshot with the Vandal. And Master goes down. Now 4-3. Ando Ray might get a good flank here onto Skelesis, but currently Els is hurting for health right now. Skelesis takes down Tsubasa. Ando Ray getting pretty close to where Skelesis is. Sees the barrel and oh!
Last player standing.
It's all up to him at this point. 1v3. Cage gets brought out by Rariana. We do see the Viper's Pit at the ready. Be interesting. It would be a great idea to bring it out now, and it's good thing he didn't. He gets taken down. Boise State now brings it up 4-1.
They're definitely on a roll, and a bit risky for them to push up this far toward lobby, but it's still paid off for them. Just seemed like
great double kill to start things off too.
Yeah,
sometimes just need that little bit of extra momentum there at the start of the round, or at least at any point.
One thing about this Viper wall placement is it does give, it does give them room to move through a lobby without having to worry too much about lawn, but it just as much gives Boise State some time to move up and cheat up. But they're not going to make that same mistake twice. They were already out in A lawn. Still keeping the spike in the pocket for now, not really going to commit one way or the other with it.
We do see that Viper wall didn't really end up getting used like we expected, and once Prestige dropped that smoke, ooh, and getting a good couple of kills onto Axio and Els. And that double tap is currently still going, but unless Tukey pushes forward now, yeah, I don't envision he's going to be able to keep it going. Still good to get that first blood going there. Honoré with a takedown onto Prestige, getting a one-to-one takedown there. Ooh. And the jump, just trying to peek. Tukey was there, but he was able to avoid all damage there, so that was a pretty good play there.
USC manages to find a way to move on to C, which is pretty well undefended. I would say they at least managed to get the plant off of this and the credits, although they're being a bit risky. They don't have to push up like this.
One enemy remaining.
And that
30
really
seconds
makes them pay.
Spike down.
They're not even going to get the credits that they might have gotten from that plant.
And Tukey gets his location revealed, and at that point, Skeletons just has to push forward a little farther. Boise State is now making this solid push for themselves like we saw with USC last round. I am curious though, are we going to see a big comeback from the Trojans, or is it going to just be a pretty hefty, not full sweep, but a pretty hefty number of rounds here from Boise State?
Well, they would need to really stay consistent here on Haven, then move on to Lotus.
Well, with how well Sky plays with the sniper, maybe we'll be seeing him using that quite a lot more, especially on defense here.
It's definitely a long road to victory, but not an impossible one. Boise State now heading on into round 7. This is the first time we've seen USC coalesce around C lawn. Haven't really pushed up that route too much. It is smoked off. One thing we haven't seen come into play too much has been window through garage. That's usually a pretty popular route, but USC has favored an A push so much. And you know what? For how much they favored it, Boise State, due to some positioning errors, have given a lot over to USC to plant for free.
Yeah, the only one over there is Skeletons at the moment, and he doesn't have any clue that all of the team is over there. And maybe he does, because we see the rest of the team rotating. Ooh, this could be pretty big.
Oh, one Hunter's Fury deserves another. He's trying to hold it up, but hesitates too much, and Tukey shoots him right in the face with it. And now things are going to go from bad to worse. You got the Viper's Pit on the main retake route.
Ooh, USC, yeah, with those couple of ults being dropped. You don't even need to bring out the fan and knives at that point. Just like, you got everything you need. Able to take down, use that ultimate to take down the enemy ultimate and get a takedown with it. And just be able to lock off the entire thing. We see them instead choosing probably the right decision and retreating, while USC seems to be hunting them down, trying to find any picks. And there it goes. Or, no, they weren't hunting. What am I talking about? They were trying not to get blown up by the spike. Either way. Good play from Boise State, just choosing when to retreat.
Yeah, but this was such a crucial error here when the enemy's Hunter's Fury is, he knows where he is, so he's trying to adjust, but he forgets the all-important fact that you can't move that much in the Hunter's Fury as well, so it's just a thing of just let it rip and get on out of there, or else he's going to be able to track you.
Yeah, getting hit by 2 of them, yep, that's a full-on health depleter. Sometimes just using an ult to counter an ult is all you need to start making some progress towards a win. And it seemed like that's what they needed, being able to take down Skeletons. Just help them start to push forward ever so slowly. But eventually did work out in their favor. Rariana taking down Axio to get things started off. Bringing down 5-4. Looking at C-Long again, but are they going to start pushing forward? We see only one of them pushing forward, while the rest are now choosing to go maybe towards mid. Sky there with the operator, Could be a pretty big pick onto Andore if he chooses to step out here in a second, but he's not watching the correct side of the doorway. So it's really hard to tell. Well, neither of them are choosing to move much at all.
Portal closed.
Meanwhile, Courtyard could be the main place of action right now. Boise State has smoked it off, but it's going to wear off soon, and USC ready to charge on in. The smoke goes down, throwing out the bolt, does get some pings onto a few of the Broncos. Skelesis tries to throw out his own shock dart, but Onodare and Tuki Williams, Tsubasa get one each, and Boise State cannot recover from the quick charge up B. Sky's in a bad position with this op, so difficult to retake, but maybe he can find one and be good. No, he misses, and I don't know if he's going to be willing to risk such an expensive weapon.
At that point, just kind of run away, hold on to the operator, and hope that USC can't take it. But he seems to still be pretty confident in his ability to push forward. Goes for the 360. Maybe that's all he needs to start. Maybe that's all he needs to make those plays.
Don't like this, though. It's so expensive to lose the op.
Oh, yep, yeah, there it goes. Oh, are they even going to pick it up? Maybe they didn't even pick it up.
I mean, they might not need it, you know,
That's true.
seeing as how they're attacking. It's the real thing is just making Skies drop it. So he would have to spend another, I think it's around 5,000 credits to purchase an op. It's not 5,000 credits. It's give or take a few, but
either way, it's expensive, and you really don't want to waste any money when given the opportunity. So it was kind of interesting to see him pushing forward so confidently. When you have nothing but a sniper and it's a 1v3.
I mean, it puts Boise State into a really risky position, seeing as how losing this round, it's going to be much more likely they're forced onto an economy down. Ondore gets a pick onto Prestige. Boise State not really able to stop this plant from USC. There will be 3 Broncos left.
Ooh, trying to hit him with the wall bang, but wasn't really able to find much. And we see USC retreating away from the spike, just focusing on this long angle. But the cage could be pretty big. Did get stunned, but he might be able to get the defuse. Oh, but Tuki just shooting him through the cage. Did get halfway through. And there goes Master Axial with a great headshot there.
Yeah, what I'm wondering here is I'm kind of noticing a lot of like attempts at hero moments here, you know, whether it was Prestige pushing in with that op or just trying to stick it at the very end there. And, you know, unless the whole team is in on that strategy, it can be very risky for one player to just try to go out and do it all.
Sometimes there's a good mindset to have of don't be a hero, play as a team. I mean, if you're the only one left, you can't really play as a team. But
I'm not going to razz you in that scenario. If it's 1v4, you know, do what you can.
Yeah. It's just like, do you want to lose that equipment that you've got?
But also know when to save.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough thing to think of. You can't always tell. So I can't really blame them for just trying to make any sort of difference.
Oh, what a tailwind in to get so much ground for Axio, but Prestige takes him out with the headshot. Boise State now up 1 in this round. Trying to prevent this plant on B, but USC will successfully get it. More credits given over to them. Rariana gets one onto the light. Skies also onto Tuki with the headshot. Just 2 Trojans left. Can Boise State land it? Trying to throw out the blind. Double tap almost up. And it's going to be a lot of security gone for Master as, oh my goodness, we got an Odin play off from the side. Can we have just the wallbang through trying to take off Boise State's health? They know where the spike is. Master's just going to try to stick it, and he'll be successful in that. Boise State picks up the round, goes up 2.
Oh, but then there at the end, Skelesis got taken down. Still another point for Boise State, 6-4. USC's made a little bit of progress towards what they're hoping for here, but they're still a little bit, USC's still a little bit behind at the moment. Yeah, I was very interested to see how fast USC pushed forward. Like they clearly had they're clearly very set on B site, and they pushed forward almost as fast as they possibly could. And while it started off pretty well for them, they got taken down pretty quickly.
Standing ahead.
We'll see if they'll end up bringing out that same idea of just pushing real quick. I remember we saw a lot of that last week too. That doesn't seem to be as favorite of a strategy of USC. Instead, they usually like to go pretty slowly, but bring out the quick pushes if they know they have a good opportunity to do so. Ariana with the camera, just not choosing to use it just yet. Team is pushing pretty quickly onto C site, but Rariana knows not to peek out just yet.
Camera taken out.
Spike planted.
Cage triggered.
Spike gets planted by Tukey. Oh, this could be a dangerous position. Oh, but he takes down Axio there.
Rariana also has the neural theft. Will know where USC is. There's so many, though, in this one area who use the contingency, though, to move on up to Cubby, but can't land the shot. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade. Boise State still sitting at 3. Skelis is down to 5. Tsubasa and Elias get 1, as well as Ando Ray. USC manages to win it in the end.
Hurting for health there at the end, but yeah, they just had a few better situations. I do like their strategy of not, like, I don't want to say camping the spike, but just defending that specific position. Instead, they choose to move all the way back. They're giving them a lot of ground to work with, and instead choosing to defend it from that angle.
Yeah, actually, I think that's pretty purposeful because they placed the spike out in the open. There's nowhere that Boise State could have stood and defused the spike that wouldn't have been available from that vantage point.
And that's why I really like that strategy, because they're really purposeful about where they're where they're putting the spike, but then it gives them all that distance to work with too. And sometimes that's all you need to make those good plays. So it's not something I have seen a ton, but I'm really liking how it's working for USC here.
Master, disengages just as the push goes through. It's going to give a lot of ground over to the Trojans.
Ooh, he's currently the only one watching A site specifically. Skelesis was over there. Brings out the double tap, but it won't really be able to be too much success as the tailwind brings him out. Brings out Axio, able to get the kill onto Master and then onto Sky right afterwards. Skelesis pushing up through heaven, but Tukey gets the plant. Currently they're hurting right now, especially with the fan of blades being brought out by their jet. Just a lot of extra danger that they really don't need to deal with.
Oh, what a knife onto Rariana as well.
Tsubasa takes down Prestige. Will they even need to use this jet ult at that point? Hunter's Fury getting brought out is a very interesting play here.
Yeah, I mean, it's the last in the half. Boise State.
Yeah.
They were going to lose it anyway, so
May as well
it was
burn
a
it.
good, burn it for that insurance for USC. So we still really don't have any momentum for either team here. I mean, USC on a little bit of a tear, but we're going to be going into the half tied at 6 apiece. So we'll see how good Boise State can do on attack as we move on to the second half.
I mean, we've seen how well they played on attack last time, so this is spelling out some pretty good success, given that the first round, or the first game, we saw USC was doing very, very well on attack, leaving Boise State without much room to breathe. Then they started to make the then Boise State made the comeback when they got into attack, but now we're seeing it's a lot more balanced.
Well, on Haven, there's an outsized pressure on Skelesis here on the Sova, because if those darts land correctly, you can pretty much get a good idea of where everyone is on any given point, but he's the main information getter for Boise State. Master throwing out the contingency, will move up with it. Brings out the double tap, it checks the wrong angle, and Onandare takes out Skelesis. It's traded back onto Tsubasa. Prestige now brings Boise State up 1 as they move on to plant on C.
Prestige is able to start planting. Sky gets a good takedown and a full team wipe. Unfortunately, one of them got taken down in the midst of it, but that's a great start, winning yet another pistol round. And giving them a very slight economy boost to start off the second half of this game. Might end up seeing Boise State winning here on Haven and going here to the third round on Lotus.
Very well, but we can't count all our eggs right now.
Can't say it yet, yeah. Still, Boise State still has to get another 6 points before the end of the round, or USC 7. Still pretty far away from that point. But Boise State, hey, like I said before, they've done pretty well in attack in the past. So given the fact that it's a lot more balanced this time around, they might be able to make some good plays here.
Well, they should win this next round, given the fact that they have the better guns. They'll move on in again. Now, oh no, they're not going to make the same mistake twice. They're going to check the correct angle this time. Master recharges the double tap off of that first blood.
Prestige able to get that plant started. Master just shooting through the smoke, trying to find anybody, but isn't really able to get many picks. We saw him retreating.
It's a worthy gamble because his double tap was just about to run out, so might just try to, because he has no util now to use.
And hey, you could just get that extra pick just with how the spraying capabilities there that he had. Able to find another pick onto Axio.
Oh, Oh, this is going to be a dangerous swing around, but manages to land it onto
One
Juki.
enemy remaining.
Now he lives just the one left. Brings out the Sheriff. Oh, manages to find it.
Prestige with the wall bang. Wow, that was an interesting play. Bring up the Sheriff there at the end. Maybe
Yeah, I have to look here again because no, he's not anywhere near left. He's not anywhere near losing ammo here. So that was a bit of a risky play there because he would have had time to reload there, but he goes on over to the Sheriff, which would have been so much more punishing had he missed.
I imagine it was probably just a situation of confidence and having enough people on your team to win the round, something like that.
The score is 8-6 right now. I mean, you're in the lead, but not by that much.
In that round specifically, there's still 3 more players on Boise State side. I still wouldn't have done that, just given you want to play it as safe as possible, but it's just probably confident enough in the ability to win the round. I don't know. I'm just spitballing at this point.
Rariana gets the first blood onto Elise.
Actually trading it back. Now 4-4. Prestige getting a very quick plant, actually. Ooh, but Skelosis goes down with the wall bang from Axio.
Oh, nice.
Player
Oh,
standing.
really nice play with the Guardians from both teams, but it's USC who gets the final pick and will defuse on B. Big credit swing back over to them.
Now matching things up 8-7. This has been a very close game so far in the second round. We didn't really see that until the end when we were looking at split last game, but this time around it's been pretty even throughout the rounds as we keep going here. So we might be seeing overtime yet again, but it's hard to say for sure. The last time we anticipated we'd be in overtime for a long time, but then USC managed to just take the first 2 rounds and then just end it right there and then. So I got to notice just how unpredictable USC has been. They've just been all over the place with their placements, their strategies. It's just been hard to tell what exactly they're going to end up doing.
Well, he does manage to get, Skelosis does manage to get a ping off of his initial dart.
Mariana watching with the camera, just trying to make sure he can't get flanked.
Ooh, Liz gets the pick on Skelosis.
Starting things off just ever so slightly in the favor of the trophy. But Prestige there with a great takedown on Tsubasa. Matching things out 4-4 once again. And another 1-to-1 trade.
Oh, he didn't check the angle. Uh-oh. Oh, Rariana is in such big trouble, and Onodara is ready to pull out the knife as well. He didn't check, and it's just been, yeah.
Oh, just waiting.
We know how the story's going to end, but it's still tragic every single second.
Oh, but Master is there with the double tap. Might be able to get revenge.
Oh, gets his double tap taken out, however. He's down to 11 health and taken out with a wall bang.
It's a 1v1. Oh, but Sky gets taken down.
All from the one player that wasn't checked.
Oh, that was... I actually didn't notice what you were talking about at first.
Yeah, you see, you look here. He's coming up, moves through, and just doesn't even pay mind to that angle. And all this everything that happened afterwards off of that one mistake.
It was all Ondo right at that point. Man, it's so hard to watch every single angle, but it's so crucial.
But you do it.
You gotta, yeah. Man. Well, it's now balanced 8-8 once again. 5 points for either team.
Sky's starting out with the dimensional drift. He's going to try to just gather as much information as he can now, make sure there are no unchecked angles. See the bolt ready to be fired from the Owl drone. Sky's ready to bring it up. Oh, gutsy. Tried to gut check Ondo Ray, and it's just, Ondo Ray is just too good right now to be challenged like that.
Rariana is able to take him down, but it's all of him at this point. Tuki takes him down right afterwards. USC is starting to push forward and make a bit of a comeback here. Now up to 9 points. It's still not completely out of the realm of possibility for Boise State, given how close it is right now. But Ondo Ray really proven my point that I brought up at the very beginning that didn't really get noticed too much. Just given the fact that all of USC was playing very well, but now over these last couple of rounds, it's just been constant takedowns, now giving him that Viper's Pit, which could be pretty huge in just trying to lock down whatever site Boise State ends up pushing here. Mariana with the Sheriff watching, see if anyone goes there through sewer, but loses the camera.
Exio gets a headshot. Rariana trade back. Best Boise State can hope for, besides a win, is going to be trading even with all these Sheriffs and the save, but the Wallbangs are going to be tough to deal with from all these Vandals.
It's all up to Skelesis and Master at the moment. Or not Master, Prestige, sorry. I was thinking of the Omen from last game.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, Prestige gets taken down by
Spike down
Tsubasa.
mid.
Skelesis pushes forward, but another kill on Tsubasa, giving him a triple, now bringing up 8 to 10. Now at double digits, Boise State's got to bring something out to take down USC in these next few rounds. Because USC, they've just been on point with getting these very efficient takedowns for the past few rounds.
Well, I do like this timeout that I'm seeing from the Broncos.
Yeah.
It's just at the time that I was thinking need to be called, and it did work out for them very well
very much
on
did.
split. So
That moment that timeout happened last time, they went from like what 2 points to like 11 without like losing any rounds. So yeah, sometimes just getting that short little mental break, getting a good idea of what you need to bring out as you keep progressing through the last few minutes of this game. Just got to make sure you're completely locked in on your strategy, what specifically you're going to be bringing out, what to expect. So many little things just to be ready for.
especially since the stakes for this next round are going to be pretty high. It's going to be Boise State's rifle round. Just barely they can afford it since they saved last. So should they lose this, then the score goes up so high for the Trojans that they have to fight at, no, not quite match point, but they'll be close to match point, facing another, being demanded that they get a thrifty. So if Boise State wants to bring it back, they have to now.
Well, they might not have everything they want in terms of equipment, but they do have a few ultimates, which could give them a bit of a good push, but USC does have 3 to match, too. So it's hard to tell just yet. See if they even end up bringing out those ultimates. A great stun to start it off, and Axio dashing in there. He'll take down Master, but Prestige trace it right afterwards, just having a couple of people there.
I know it.
2 is better than 1.
Nice neural theft by Boise State. Hopefully they can use that to their advantage. They know that Liz has been stationed in garage, but he retreats. Oh, are they going to know? Oh, nice play, taking out Tukey.
No,
It is still 1-for-1 trade, though. Now we see a little bit of repositioning by Liz, moving back on over to Windows, so Garage still going to be really tough to push through. And we see where Tukey was positioned on Ondara, and he's been so good on these unexpected flanks. Is Prestige going to... No! Oh, wait, he does check. Oh, nice.
Yeah, Sky went down, but at least he was there, or else Skelesis would have definitely gotten taken down as well. That could have been dangerous. It's now 2 to 2. Except this time, it's not quite the same because Prestige is hurting for health. Got hit quite a lot there by Ondo Ray, who just walked around who just got saved at the last second by Skelesis. Or Prestige got saved at the last second by Skelesis. Now we see them moving towards C-Site with a lot of ground that they can cover here. A lot of room to work with, given the fact that the rest of them are at A-Site right now. So even though the timer's ticking down, it's not going to be in their favor. And USC's got to rotate very quickly. See Omen with that teleport over towards C-Site. He knows. He's going to start pushing forward there through that long sight line. Oh, but Boise State's going the wrong way. This could be pretty dangerous. We see him pushing forward Tsubasa. This hallway might be exactly what he needs to keep pushing forward. They see each other. Oh, but he runs ever so quickly towards it.
One enemy
Oh,
remaining.
Skelesis with the
Nice
takedown on the L's.
Tsubasa having to deal with a 2-on-1 and not much time to defuse, but manages to get one. Can he get the second?
There we go.
He can't, and
Good
Skelesis,
stuff.
nice headshot.
Ooh, man, when I was terrified seeing Ondo Ray with that flank. Every time we see Ondo Ray with a flank, it always ends up going, or not always, but it always ends up pretty dangerously for Boise State.
But I do hate to rain on the Broncos parade. Even though they did win that last round, they lost 4 in doing so. So the same problem of maybe not being able to purchase up fully is going to hit them. At least the scoreline has given them a little bit more wiggle room to work with. So it's just Just like that, just trying to take it one round at a time. And we do have this kill contract available on the ISO, so maybe if he can get that onto a prime player, I don't know who he wants to take out with it, maybe Axio, but if he can get that first pick, that's very good. Oh, okay, I know who he should have done now, Ondo Ray.
It's always Ondo Ray.
Yeah, he's been a master of these ambushes too, just staying out of sideline. Yep, Master concurs, he agrees, so great minds think alike.
1-to-1, nobody's really hurting for health right now. Pretty evenly split, starting to push towards C right now, and the only one there is Tsubasa currently. So we see
Swings on out. Oh man, that's so impressive.
Oh, that stun could be
Last
dangerous.
player
Yep,
standing.
Els with a double.
But he had so many Broncos facing him, and yet he still managed to pick up one.
It's that stun, I'm telling you. He's been landing those so efficiently. Ooh, Skelos is all that's left, and he's got the spike. He might be rotating towards A here. Oh, but they seem to have the same idea here. They know where he's going. Pushing as quickly as he possibly can,
30
but
seconds
by the
left.
time he gets there, the
He'll
Jet's
have
gonna
enough time to plant, but that's all he's going to have time
yeah,
for.
because Axio is going to be coming right around the corner.
He has a great stall with the Hunter's Fury. He just can't get taken out before that.
Oh, there he goes. Man, this is rough. Now it's going to be brought up 11 points to 9. Only 2 more on USC, and they win everything. Boise State is running out of time here.
And Elijah manages to take him out. I tried to sound as backwards as possible.
I applaud you for your effort. You got pretty close, actually. You did. Maybe I'll just call him Joe and just...
No. Like I said, if you spell your username backwards, you got to deal with the consequences.
No, hold on. I'll call him Orange Juice, because Joe backwards is OJ, which stands for Orange Juice.
Okay.
So maybe I'll call him that.
Okay.
Actually, that's a lot of syllables. I'm too lazy to do that. I'll stick with L's, because that's what I called him at the start. Like I said, just got to go with what I'm used to, because it'll confuse me more than anything.
Look at this, though. This push up through courtyard by USC. This is a very gutsy play by them, but they've called out Boise State's play perfectly. Boise State is going up A-Lon all as one unit.
Oh, but this is a pretty heavy flank. Are they even watching right now?
Yeah,
Oh, they are
okay,
right
they are
now.
looking
Okay.
back.
Yeah,
but
Rarion is there.
of course, it's Ondo Ray ready to
Always.
take him on.
The double tap gets brought up with the stun every single time. That stun has been on point.
Last player standing.
And there we go. Now it's only up. Now it's only Prestige. He's able to take down Axio. Just to teleport towards C site. Maybe that was a very good play, actually. Lets him start planting. But then it's just up to him. They're flanking him right now. And then if he ends up getting taken down, it'll be 9-12. Match point. Hey, but he made a lot of ground for himself. That teleport across the map with the spike was a very smart play. Just trying to avoid this, getting taken down. Ooh, might be able to get a good pick onto Ondo Ray here. Tsubasa goes around the corner, but the headshot immediately, and Ondo Ray able to defuse the spike without any sort of opposition. Now we're up to match point. Boise State has to win 4 consecutive rounds if they want a chance of making a comeback here. But they've been getting taken down so much, they do not really have much money to work with. Well, we'll see what ends up happening here.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
Yeah,
We'll go with.
you know, we're still going. I still have faith in the Broncos.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. I have faith. I, for one, have faith.
We're not conceding. Here we go.
Here we go.
Ooh,
Okay,
start
here we
things
go.
off strong, actually, taking down Ondo Ray. Prestige just barely surviving it, though.
It is a good start for the Broncos, though. They've gotten the top player off from USC.
Ooh.
Thing is, though, is that A-Lon is still being held down, so even though they got that first initial pick, even if they choose to go the route they got the elimination, which would be C-Lon, they're still going to face resistance. The one thing that isn't defended, though, this is a good call, is Garage.
See them, they're pretty stalwart right now, just sticking near spawn, trying to find a good place to move, and they're playing this so carefully, which is exactly what they need to do.
Oh, what a
That was
nice
good.
play there with the double tap as well for the insurance. Master has it locked in.
Ooh, L's in heaven though. Double tap gets taken down. Ooh, this might be a pretty hefty flank. Axio with the sniper. Oh, and another one. Ooh,
Ouch.
3-3 right now.
And he's got the Blade Storm 2, maybe to finish it all off. Can Axio win it for the Trojans?
Skeleton sees all that's left. It's a 1v1 right now.
Oh, with the off as well to
man.
end it. That's a period at the end of your sentence. USC winning that.
That's more of an
13-9.
exclamation point if you ask me.
Wow, Boise State struggling against the Trojans,
Yeesh.
although it wasn't a blowout by any
No,
stretch.
absolutely not.
It went into overtime on split, and it was still 13-9 on Haven, so close, but USC proving to be a tough opponent for the Broncos and setting themselves up for better seeding going into Vegas. We'll see if the Broncos get their revenge, but I do have to point it out to you, AJ, the one that you called out at the very beginning, it's been the one we had to look out for, was the one we had to look out for. Ray was such a threat on Haven.
And it was during the second half too. Like during that first half, it was still pretty split between each of the players. But then there's just a snap out of nowhere switch, and suddenly Ray just became the most dangerous player on the team. Getting the it was the moment that he got that flank. I don't remember exactly what happened, but he got that good flank to start things off. And the moment that round happened, it was just a snowball effect from there.
It's very clear he has down the knowledge of where to. He has down the geometry of each stage and where is the optimal place to hide and flank down perfectly, especially with the timing since he evaded Boise State's side so much. And because all of that knowledge that he has on where to flank and how to flank came at the exact time that Boise State was also, they didn't check an angle that they should have. That's ultimately where the match ended up.
It's rough. Just such minute details that you just miss, and that just so happens to be a major difference.
But it's an opportunity to get better. Remember, this is STIS for seeding. Boise State could still have an incredible run in Vegas, and maybe in these final 2 weeks as well. We still got a lot more PEC to give to you, including the Smash Bros match tomorrow, so you're not going to want to go away. We'll have much more for you as the week goes on. But for now, for this match, we will give a congratulations to USC for the win and leave you with the top 5 highlights of this particular game. Let's see them.
Brought out every time, but Ray with the operator, able to get that first takedown. Actually with another one onto Sky, leaving them down only 3 players right now. USC still with full and with a heavy ultimate advantage, but ooh, Skelesis with a great angle right there.
Is the high ground that they can fight down here from B Heaven. Axio slowly making his way through alley. Get a little bit of backup from the breach. Tsubasa trying to round the corner. You see his gun barrel and very nice adjustment by down this angle here. Question is his crosshair placement right where it needs to be? Oh, man, the stuns have been on point from USC's breach, and they play to it so well. But Boise State now with the lead. Master gets his double tap. One of Doc's keys to the game. They have a 2-1 lead. Can they convert on it?
It's all to Tsubasa at this point.
Oh.
We're starting to defuse the spike.
He might be able to get half.
We got half. Oh, but there it is.
Head. Oh, nice little stun by the breach, and they'll move in quickly off of that. And Master manages to find one against Tuki. Around the corner, he finds a second. Axio looking to tie